So I was planning to start the day with a different kind of video, but it looks like a lot of new stuff has been data mined following the latest update. There are some new armor sets for each Javelin, tons of new really cool cosmetics, but what really caught my attention was the fact that there's some really interesting changes being planned for the crafting system, including of course what appears to be the possibility of crafting different melee weapons for the Javelins. So there's a lot of stuff in there, let's dive right into it right now. Also quick reminder for the giveaway that is still underway and will end quite soon. If you didn't see it yet, check out the links in the description box for a chance to win any game you want to. It can be literally anything out there. All you need to do is be signed up on Instant Gaming, be subscribed to this channel and follow me and Instant Gaming on social media for multiple chances to win, you know, the giveaway. So it's pretty cool. With that being out of the way though, it's time to go over the new leaks, and a big shout out once again to Javano and the hardworking people on his Discord channel for all of the data mine work that they are doing. Anyway, starting with the 5 new armor sets. First we have something called the Regal Storm armor set, though I'm expecting the in-game name to be different than the one in the game files, as it always happens. Anyway, this armor is one of the more unique storm looking sets that I've seen so far. It's definitely deserving its name and does fit a more royal theme, high end with, you know, some really nice cloth elements on the chest piece, which I find to be a really nice addition. Probably the most iconic piece over here has to be the helmet, which I find to be a very interesting combination of the Dominion theme, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who sees this going on, and a little bit of the Star Wars, if you can believe it. Like the eye area with the metallic components being, you know, noticeable from the outside, and just the way the set is made definitely reminds me of that. Now the chest piece also looks really nice with those 2 circled lines on the edges, and I'm also a huge fan of the shoulder areas for the hands. I really love it when armors introduce new ways of setting up those right hand runes. They are definitely nicely connected over there, and even more so when they add shoulder pads to the left one is when I pretty much lose it. I mean, this is overall an armor set that I'm probably going to buy as soon as it comes out. But this isn't the only one for this storm. There's a second one called the Manta Set, and I really like this wide helmet and the tubes running from the chest piece all the way to the back. It definitely reminds me of an underwater theme. Now this one is a little bit more bulky and less refined than the previous one, almost in direct contrast. But I will say that the color options here don't make it full justice, and it will definitely look way better in game. It's probably a little bit too bulky and angular for my taste and for what I would see a storm wearing, which is most probably why I'm going to skip it, but still it looks really cool. Moving on to the Interceptor though, we have something called the Sheer Spike armor set. The helmet is most definitely my favorite here, with a very high slope on the head. With this type of color selection, it almost looks like a high-end sports car or even a fighter jet. The chest piece isn't the most unique I've seen so far, but it's cool regardless, and I really like the shoulder wings. That definitely makes it look like a jet. And yeah, this is one of those times when I'm reminded that we can't buy armor sets piece by piece, which is a damn shame because I only want the helmet from this armor set. Following after this, we have the Ranger Hunter set, probably the first one to have a full body vest on the outside instead of just the armor. Still, it looks very awesome. I'm always down for armor sets that go beyond the general theme of a certain Javelin and dare to bring something different to the table. The main focus here is obviously the big bulky chest piece with more pockets than you even need. I wish there was also an increase in inventory size alongside with these, but obviously you could fit a lot of, you know, gear and ammo in it. The oversized neck protection is something that I really like, and the whole setup kind of reminds me of Tom Hardy's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. So if you ever wanted to cosplay or play as a Bane kind of character in Anthem, then probably this is going to be the set for you. Finally, the Tech Colossus armor set is the last one being data mined. It looks pretty good, I like the headpiece, but otherwise it doesn't look that distinct or that interesting. Probably if I were to buy this set, I would combine the headpiece with armor parts from different armor sets. Otherwise they don't look that great, but the headpiece is definitely the banger over here. Moving on though, we have some vinyls slash wraps. These are basically full body wraps. The next section contains about 8 new ones, or well 7 or 6 if you take into account the fact that a couple of them have been shown in the shop itself in the past, and most recently yesterday one of them has been showcased in the store yesterday. But I will say that I'm surprised just how much these full body wraps wraps can change the look of the Javelin even when just having them on the basic starting armor equipped. If the price range was a tad bit lower, like 20 to 30,000 instead of 61,000, I would probably buy them in a heartbeat, but for 61,000 coins, it just doesn't seem like a proper price range for, something that isn't even a full armor set, and even more so when you consider the coin gathering rate, which isn't really that high after a certain threshold. Still, there's a few very cool ones in there, like this yellow street jumper wrap. I really like this one. Then there's something called 80s wrestler, which is probably my favorite on the list. I really like those rainbow stripe effects, and it's probably the most different one of them all. I would definitely buy this if I had enough coin, but I kind of wasted all of it, so yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that. Then we have the Excalibur Decal, which looks really neat. I especially like the combination of white and yellow mustard color combination going on, along with the head and chest lines. That is also very cool. And again, it's surprising just how much the patterns and the whole overall body wrap can alter the looks of the whole armor. So really curious to see how it looks on other armor sets, because on the default Ranger it looks pretty damn cool. Now in terms of masterwork abilities, we have a couple more of those as well in the support category. First, we have something called the Berserker's Cry, which is basically an upgraded Colossus battle cry, and this one increases melee damage and decreases the melee cooldown. I'm not really sure if the 2% damage increase is a bug here, or it appears like that because of the scaling on the website. I hope it's gonna be more in-game, because 2% isn't really that much. It's probably not gonna even make a dent in your overall DPS. Then we have something called the Hallowing Veil, upgraded Storm Wind Wall, and this one, upon expiring, detonates additional explosions that hit the targets in the front, and the blast damage is mentioned to be at a base of 2111. So some pretty decent damage, but it's just an added bonus and not a main functionality of the Wind Wall, which is a defensive skill by nature. Still some really cool changes, and I'm really curious to find out when we're going to see these items in game. Anyway, I was talking about some exciting news over the crafting changes, and it seems that there's a lot of work being put into crafting right now. While there are new icons being added for the new and the already existing items, there's also data strings for many of them as well. But what's most interesting is the fact that there's not just icons, there's 3D models and crafting data on new melee weapons as well. And in the case of the Ranger, for example, we have the Ranger Mace, but more importantly we have something on top of it, and that is of course the sword melee weapon. I'm not really sure if the new 3D model has been created yet, but there are icons and references in the game about it. There's this new arc sword already, which seems to have a model and mesh file in the game files. I'm not really sure if it's complete or enough to create a full 3D model yet, but we do know from an early interview from BioWare that they were working and setting up the foundation for multiple melee weapon types for each Javelin to be crafted. So that sounds really interesting. I would love to see different melee weapons for each Javelin, honestly, and also have them change functionality, maybe make some of them primers, some of them detonators, or maybe even have something like a full melee Ranger, for example, similar to the Interceptor, but with slower attacks with its sword. That would be definitely something really cool that I don't think most people would expect. Still, this is all the data mine that we have. Of course, we don't expect these to drop tomorrow or anything. Remember that we still have a lot of items from the previous leaks that haven't yet been implemented with the newest update, so it's most probably going to happen all at one time. Probably BioWare is currently working on a lot of them at the same time, and they might drop them all in the future in one single patch. When that happens, it's probably going to be a crazy update, because there's already quite a few of them being data mined already, and then we have the ones from today on top of that. So yeah, some really exciting stuff. A lot of work is being done behind the scenes, obviously in light of the recent news about a lot of the stuff on the roadmap being delayed and all of that. But yeah, I'm not gonna go over that topic in this video. I'm gonna keep that one for later. Before finishing this video though, if you haven't checked it out, the feature store has been updated with some brand new stuff. Of course, one of them is the Golden Lancer wrap. It's the one that has been also data mined, but it's now also in the shop as well, which pretty much means that the rest of the items will follow pretty much soon. And there's also some brand new materials in there as well. Honestly, these materials at 5,000 coins, I think these are more worth it than the rest. Everything else, not really that much. The 61,000 wrap, as I've said, should be slashed in half at the very least to make it worth it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, as always, a thumbs up would be super appreciated. Also, make sure to subscribe for more Anthem content, and I'm gonna see you guys next time.